Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bow and Arrow Tarot and this week's Toxic Love reading for Sagittarius and somebody in their life. And we are going to get right into your reading. Straight out, we have Nine of Cups for you, Sagittarius. Empress energy. Let me move Sag up a little bit. Queen of Cups and King of Wands. Your person in this toxic love connection is also resonating with nine, but Nine of Pentacles. They have a nine major arcana, the Hermit, and Ace of Swords, and Eight of Wands. Bottom of the deck, we have the Page of Wands. So a lot of nine energy. Nine is associated with the Hermit. Yeah. Let's see here what's going on. Nine. Solitary energy, Sagittarius, right? Very solitary. You yourself, you and your person, it's interesting, you're both quite happy and blissful where you're at, right? You're happy in your life with the way relationships are going right now. Like the state of your relationships, friends, lovers, etc., family, everything. You're just kind of pleased with it the way it is, right? Your person is resonating with Nine of Pentacles. They are also extremely pleased with their financial situation, their physical condition, their material world right now. It's just very, very good. And mostly because of, well, I'm going to say all because of their own hard work that they've put into it. Nine of Pentacles is somebody who's really experiencing some abundance in their life as a result of a lot of effort. But the abundance is quite solitary. They are in a place where a lot of people were not able to follow with them. So, and also down to the nature of the amount of work that they've had to put in. Oftentimes, you get your garden, but you're in there by yourself because you have alienated. There's a feeling of alienation here with the number 9. In any case, let's get some clarifiers here, Sagittarius, before we go forward. Let's get into the shadow side of some of this energy here. And there's your moon on that 9 of Cups, and for your person, 4 of Swords. So yes, now as we begin to look at the shadow side, because really these toxic readings are shadow readings, it shows that there is a feeling here for you, Sagittarius, of just being quite unsure about a lot of those relationships. Although you are happy where you're at right now, there is a feeling, and of course when we're looking in this connection with this person, there is a feeling of just like not being told the whole story, not being told the truth, really purposefully being kept in the dark, which causes you to have a lot of different feelings, very sensitive feelings of just like anxiety a little bit as well, and then also being quite emotional. I think it's really taxing you that you're in the dark about a lot of things, especially with your person. They're resonating 4 of Swords energy. So in addition to all that, they're really not coming towards you. They're being quite cagey. They're planning their next steps. And I think that here the shadow is that you don't know anything, and they're not telling you anything. How you see each other, you see them as the Empress, and they see you as a Hermit. So also, it feels to me, Sagittarius, like this person is very much your divine feminine, and yet they view you very differently. There's a coldness here. They see you kind of removed, pulled back. They see that they consider your energy to be one of hermited energy. So you may yet indeed be isolating yourself. You may also just be very happy where you're at. But this person is representing a very feminine energy, but also a feeling here when we look at the shadow of somebody who's very self-indulgent. They may be somebody who's very materialistic, very self-indulgent, Sagittarius, very concerned with looks and impressions. And it almost feels as though you have a feeling for this person, and yet they are bringing nothing back to you. It is new. This is a new individual, but there's the toxicity here. Yes, Knight of Cups. This person is very much like a player, I believe. They come off very beautiful, Sagittarius. They come off as Empress energy. So, yeah, they're resonating with some Venus energy as well. You may be dealing with a Virgo, or you may be dealing with somebody as Taurus energy. Um, in any case, this is a new connection coming in, and it's already beginning to cause you some issue, right? It's already beginning to cause you some difficult feelings. Moon energy in this case is quite difficult. It's a little bit, it's very much unsure. You feel kind of like you really don't know where you stand with this person, and that's a really uncomfortable position. And this person is very much somebody who likes their money. They do quite well. Listen, they're able to pick and choose. You're dealing with someone who's really able to pick and choose, who's a real pretty boy or a pretty girl. You know what I mean? They're definitely someone who plays a lot. Knight of Cups, that means they come into people a lot. And I think that you're up for a bit of a challenge here, Sagittarius. There doesn't seem to be much love energy here coming from them. How do you see yourself? Well, you want to see yourself as, you want to go deeper with them. You Queen of Cups energy is how you'd like to see yourself in this relationship. And for them, they see this connection, Ace of Swords. This is also a new connection for them, but this is for them a lot of mental gameplay here, right? So again, let me put it to you like this, Sagittarius. This person is someone new, but whereas you're coming at it from the point of view that you really desire to know where you stand with them and whether or not you can get deeper with them on an emotional level, they see you as very much a challenge. Yep, Nine of Wands there is very much a challenge. You're dealing with somebody who likes a lot of games, who likes a lot of mental back and forth. Okay, they see you as a challenge because their viewpoint on you is that they see you as someone who's very hermited and unavailable, or not unavailable, but sort of inaccessible, right? It isn't that you're unavailable, but you're inaccessible to them. You're someone who's they can't really understand you. By the same token, you're really not understanding them either very well here. And well, not so much understanding them, but you're not understanding where you stand with them, where you fit with them, how they see you. So that you're coming from an emotional level, but they are coming from a mental level. And they're really kind of like, oh, okay, this Sagittarius is going to be a little bit more perhaps difficult, very different from the type of people I'm used to coming toward or playing with, right? So they're taking you as a challenge. Now, why is this coming up as toxic? Well, it feels here like you may indeed be dealing with somebody who, when they approach things from a mental point of view, right, there's a lot of games involved. Right. So if your heart is not involved, if it's all like sort of a mental kind of game, or like, a mental outlook on a connection, that's a lot to do with ego. And it just seems that at this point, there's no heart associated with it, like no deep feelings associated with it. So you want to take care here, because I believe that, you're coming at this relationship with emotions, and you're coming at this relationship with feelings because you're attracted. Clearly, there's an attraction here because there is a connection, right? It's not like you're attracted to somebody who just doesn't want to know, right? There is a connection here, but it already has red flags. You see what I'm saying? It already has red flags because of the way they're approaching it. Nine of Wands, World Cup. So for you, you're seeing this, you're looking at this possible connection, because again, this is new. So possible relationship, already connection is established, but you're looking at it from a point of view of, wow, this could be nice. It feels destined that this is kind of just coming in for me right now. It feels kind of meant to be. They're kind of coming at it from a Nine of Wands energy. So you're also dealing with somebody, I think, who for the most part hasn't had a whole lot of success in relationships, right? They're used to kind of a lot of, just not a lot of progress, kind of really being stuck at a certain place with their relationships, or yeah, with the relationships they've had up until now. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, on the one hand, you're dealing with somebody who very much likes to play, be a player, maybe date multiple people, go from one to the next, never really get very deep. Yet at the same token, they're also kind of stuck in a very kind of shallow, unhappy place because they never go any deeper. You, however, there is something here in terms of Sagittarius. You're getting them to want to think in a different way. Like you're presenting a very completely different option to them from what they're used to. And they're approaching it from the point of view of, wow, this Sagittarius is a bit of a puzzle. I got to figure them out. And it feels like as well that because this is their approach, that you're dealing with somebody who is prone to a lot of games. That's their method of getting to know you, and that can be quite toxic. 10 of Swords comes in for them, and Ace of Cups, King of Wands. Wow, well, it's a new love connection. 10 of Swords, interesting. I think that what ends up happening here, listen, do take care because you're still dealing with someone here, I think, who has very toxic tendencies in the way that they communicate. However, dealing with you does present an option here of them kind of giving up their ways. They may indeed decide to give up their old ways. Dealing with you may indeed have, serve them a final blow in terms of their methodology not working. You know what I mean? Their MO, the way they try to hook up with people, get with people, make a connection doesn't seem to be working. And here it doesn't work with you to such a degree that they almost, for some of you, this actually turns out quite well here in terms of them giving that up. Nevertheless, they still have 8 of Wands. They're still kind of confused. You know what I mean? So it does feel like this starts off very confusing for you, but in this way, Sagittarius, in the way that you are difficult to figure out for them, there is a love connection. I think you fall in love with them. I just want you to be really careful because yet there still is no real cup energy or love energy coming from them. Sagittarius, you have Ace of Cups, King with a King of Wands. You really exalt them. You see them as somebody who's really in like this great position. King of Wands energy, I'm going to say to a certain degree, this is a very, you're going to find yourself, some of you may find yourself just falling for this person regardless, right? Despite the red flags, despite the fact that you're dealing with somebody who is actually quite arrogant, quite, into themselves. They're used to getting a certain thing. At the same token, you still present a vexing problem for them. But again, you come from a position of kind of falling for them, and they are still very stuck in kind of the joy of the mental games back and forth with you. You definitely are challenging them, but whether or not the love comes in, I'm not entirely sure. Page of Wands is at the bottom of the deck here, really to illustrate a feeling of overcoming fear. I feel like Sagittarius, yeah, you are nervous. You're nervous about this connection. You're nervous about letting them know how you feel, or I feel like you're nervous about, reading this wrong, right? Because again, there isn't any real conversation happening here towards a relationship, perhaps. There's definitely a connection. There's flirting going on back and forth, but again, you're dealing with somebody who's not willing to really give you anything in terms of any real sign of how they feel, or because I don't think they're necessarily on a feeling trip. You're still very much in their head, right? You're still very much a person. It's a puzzle to figure out. Some of you may be dealing with someone who has Cancer energy. Moon is there as Cancer. All right. The Hermit is Virgo energy. Some of you may be dealing with Virgo energy, right? But yeah, let's get some oracles here. It's interesting. Listen, there are red flags here in the sense, Sagittarius, that until this person really shows you that they have some actual real feeling for you, like that they are also beginning to fall in love with you or have feelings of love for you. You just want to follow the red signs because you're dealing with somebody who is prone to a lot of mental games, who's prone to a lot of confusing messaging, energy. They might flirt one minute and then ghost you the next minute. They may, come off as they're interested and then suddenly they're not interested. This is very much the beginning stages of something, but do take care that you don't let yourself just completely fall. 25, the clock, and 44, the poison. See what I'm saying? Poison. Watch out. The clock and poison. The clock is there to a certain degree because I feel like you're waiting for them to come in. You're waiting for them to kind of come towards you and make some kind of, admission of feeling or care. And then there's poison here as well. So watch out. Again, I feel like you're dealing with somebody who's very used to playing games with people's heads, figuring them out in that way. And that's just not, that's a toxic way to start off. It's just toxic in and of itself. I don't even feel like any real toxicity has happened here yet, but I feel like you're in for some if you ignore the red flags here in this connection. And there's definitely red flags. All right, show me some more oracles. Foolish, self-indulgent, and invading. Wow. Foolish, self-indulgent, foolish. Yeah, I feel like there is this feeling here, Sagittarius, like you're going to be feeling foolish if you kind of, I don't know, put yourself out there, because this person is somebody who's very cool. They're not going to admit, even if they do have feelings, I don't think they would admit it right out. It would take them some time, but yeah, you want to be careful. This is definitely the type of person who can make you feel foolish because they flirt in a very subtle way. And then when you address it, they're like, who, me? No, I'm not interested. Like what? Self-indulgent. Somebody is extremely self-indulgent. Yep. And invading. Somebody invading somebody's personal spaces. Somebody acting like they're being invaded upon. Take this as you will, folks. Sagittarius, my brothers and sisters, I do love reading for you. I am a Sagittarius myself. I always make that disclaimer. But yeah, this is your reading. This is your toxic love reading. This is a reading for a Sagittarius who started a new connection recently with somebody and you're just completely in the dark about what's going on. This person is a bit of a player. They're really, they're really thinking about their next moves with you. They're not really working from a sort of instinct of the heart. They're definitely working from a cerebral sort of mental viewpoint, and it's geared towards getting to know you, but certainly getting to know you through their tried and true tactics, which seem to be somewhat toxic, which seem to probably involve a lot of games, emotional games, back and forth, ghosting, then maybe showing interest, not just being extremely non-committal. Nevertheless, they end up having a real moment because you just are not they just can't figure you out as easily as they thought they would. It's providing a challenge, and through that there may indeed develop some feelings for you at it, just because you're a challenge, and that might turn them on even more. But right now you just want to pay attention to the red flags. If this person is not coming towards you and really letting you just giving you more depth and emotion, then pull back, take your time, wait for them to make that, wait for them to come to you. Okay. Because otherwise you're always going to be a little bit chasing. This person likes to be chased. This person also likes to have the upper hand. And this person doesn't like to get too deep emotionally right away in the beginning. All right, guys, this is your reading, your toxic love reading for the week. I do hope you enjoyed it, Sagittarius. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel, which really helps me out. You can comment, leave us a comment for the collective. Let us know what you're going through. If you can resonate with this reading, claim it. All of those things really help my channel. I do love engaging with my viewers as well. So that's it, guys. I will catch you next week. And don't forget to check my channel on Friday for your weekly Love Tarot, which is uploaded every Friday. All right, Sagittarius, crosswatchers, thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.